Hi everyone, this is Beth with Flying by the Seed of my plants, and I am out in my greenhouse, and right now the weather is like, I don't know, I think it's in the 50s. Um, and the thermometer, which I put away from my heater, is showing 60 degrees. So tonight it's supposed to go down to, I seen 26 degrees. And the reason why I am bringing this up to everyone, especially if you have a greenhouse, I brought all my peppers out here, and this was a couple days ago, and it went down. I don't even know how cold it got, but it had to be in the low 20s, if not upper teens. And when I came out in the morning, because I didn't realize it was going to get that cold, but a lot of my peppers were like wilted and laying down. And then I waited throughout the day, and it warmed up throughout the day, and they all perked back up again. So the next night I took all my peppers in. And because I have so many plants and I'm limited on space, big time in my house, it's getting harder to do that. And we're so close to breaking where, spring is coming and the weather is going to start breaking. And I have so many more plants to start. So anyhow, what I did is I went on Amazon and bought a really good freeze cloth. And so I just got that yesterday, and this is really thick. And I'll go ahead and put this in the description, the link to what I purchased here. But I might double this up and move the peppers to the second shelf down and lay this freeze cloth so that it kind of covers the back here and over the top. And of course I will have my heater on, and I'm only going to leave like maybe a tray of peppers out here. I have my herbs out here, the celery, onions, and lettuce. I'm going to leave this all out here in the greenhouse. Because the onions and the lettuce are frost hardy anyhow, but I do have herbs down there. I just want to see if this cloth will keep the temperature warmer by doing what I want to do, kind of creating a tent in here. To see if that helps, kind of like insulating my greenhouse, because when it gets really cold, I mean, it can only hold so much heat, even with the heater running. And that's obvious because when it went down to like the low 20s, maybe upper teens the other night, I almost lost all my peppers. And the ones that really struggled, they're in my house under a grow light because I want them to recover more, because I noticed they were kind of turning yellow. So they're not out of the woods yet. So, anyhow, I just wanted to share that with you. And it's a real cloudy day, Northeast Ohio. It's raining. And for right now, I'm just going to, put them down on the second shelf right here rather than the top shelf, and put this all around and check the thermostat in another maybe hour or so to see if it's retaining more heat. And I'm going to move this. Right now it's showing 61 degrees. But I'll move this right underneath. So maybe get a more truer reading for what will be covered. And so anyhow, let me go ahead and do that, and I'll bring you back in a second. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. Let me get myself situated. So I got another one in the house that I'm going to bring out also because I couldn't cover everything, but most of it. And I didn't open it totally. So it's like 2-ply, and it's already very thick. So just in that short period of time, it's 66 in here, and that's where it's covered. So I'm going to go ahead and move this back where it was. See if that makes a difference. And this is where it's not covered. And it's cloudy, so the sun's not out to really warm it up. So let me see what happens with the temperature. Okay, so this is out of the way, and already the temperature has been dropping. So now I'm going to move it back over, but I'm going to put it above, you know, where it's not covered. And I'm going to see what happens with the temperature. Okay, so this part isn't under the cover, but on top. And I still have my heater running. That's why I'm doing this. So if, let's say if the plants were above and not protected by the freeze cloth, I'm going to see what happens with the temperature. Well, and it's still dropping. Not as much. And that's probably because I still have the heater on. But it's still, well, can't make up its mind. And it's cloudy out, so, I mean, it's not at night. So tonight is going to be a real test. Okay, now it's 63. So now I'm going to move it under the freeze cloth. Let me find a good place to put it. Okay, so that's 63. Okay, and this is under the freeze cloth, but it's not in the direct where the heater is, kind of off to the side. So let me see if the temperature starts going up. Let me bring it back in a second. Now I moved it over there. I turned the heater off now, just to see what happens. So far it's holding that heat. So I think I have to wait until later on this evening to do a true test, because it is nice outside. But I think this is going to make a huge difference, retaining heat with this cover. But I am only going to leave a few plants out here. I'm not, tonight it's going down to, I think I seen 28 or something like that. So a lot of these peppers are coming in the house. Because I don't want to sacrifice all of them, but I will leave some plants out here. So anyhow, I just wanted to show that with to you. And also I am going to start pruning some of my peppers, and I'll show you how I'm doing that. So I'm going to go back in the house and bring you along with me. Okay, real quick, I pulled the cover back so that you know, it does get some sun before this evening. So, okay, I'm going to take you in and show you what I'm doing with the pruning of the plants, of the peppers. Okay, so I am back in the house, and this is my my cubanelles, which they're really getting big. And cubanelle always seems to get the tallest, the fastest. And so these are the ones I am putting in my own garden. The ones that are going in the plant sale, I started some more cubanelle. And if these all look fine, and I don't use them all in my garden, I will put them in my plant sale. And it's early enough. Abby, I'm going to get her a treat. Hang on one second, because she wants attention. Okay, Abby loves her bully sticks. It's kind of like giving a treat to a toddler, because she does like her attention. Anyhow, and as soon as I get on the phone or I start doing this, it's like a toddler saying, "Hey, mom, 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 mom." That's Abby. So anyhow, all right, so here is one of my cubanelles. And this was not out in my greenhouse, so this was not affected by the cold whatsoever. I'll show you some that were. And I'm not exactly sure how these are going to go. This was a shishito, and see how yellow those leaves are. So I don't know if it's going to recover. I'm going to go ahead and start more of the shishito just to see, to make sure I still have peppers. But the ones that were laying down from the cold snap that we had, and we're out in the greenhouse, even though I had the heater on, it must have gotten really cold at night. And for some reason, I can't link. It's a Govee thermostat that I have in my greenhouse, and it's not letting me link it on my phone so that I can put an alert on there if it drops down to a certain temperature, because I was checking on it at midnight and it was still in the 50s in my greenhouse. And so it happened somewhere between midnight and when I went out in the morning, which was probably about 7:30, that it got really cold. So yeah, I don't know how these are going to recover. So anyhow, thank God it was only a small percentage of my peppers. I mean, they did bounce back up, but I just don't know. So, all right, so I am going to prune this cubanelle. And now that they're about this big and they have quite a few sets of leaves going, so here is, these were the first leaves. I'm just going to pinch those off. And then here is the first true leaves. And then you go up another, and here's the second set. Here's the second set of leaves. And then here is a third set. Excuse me. So there's 1, 2, 3 sets of leaves. And then I have this section up here where it started the fourth. And this is where I'm going to cut it. I'm cutting it right above, let me get this out of the way. I'm cutting it right above these leaves right here. And there you can kind of see in the armpit, if you want to say, you could see little nodes right there. So I'm going to cut above that. And this is going to cause this pepper to branch out. And I know a lot of people don't agree with this. Actually, here is number 3 here. So I'm going to cut right above here. So, and I know it seems so cruel, but there, I cut that off. So now you can see what's left. And there are little, I'm going to call it the armpit, little nodes in there. And this is where it's going to start branching out. And not everybody agrees with me, and that's fine. You don't have to prune them. But this should cause, this to branch out and get more peppers. And I've did it last year and I did it the year before, and it worked. So, and I didn't notice a difference in the size of the peppers. So here's my other one. And I'm going to go ahead and mark the ones I did do and ones I didn't do when I put them in the ground or in my raised bed. So here I'm going to do this one now, which is right above, which I probably could do it with my thumbnail, but I'm not going to. I'm going to cut it above those nodes, or whatever you want to call them. And this will cause it to branch. And I'll show you in a couple days what it looks like. Here's another one that's pretty tall. And this is the new growth. Right here. So I'm going to cut. Actually, I'm going to cut right there. I did it with my thumb. And it feels like, you know, oh my gosh, why are you doing that? Because that's why. It'll make them branch out. That's why. So again, I'm going to find these branches. And I mean, I recommend, you know, if you don't feel confident of just doing it with your nail, use scissors. This way, you know, you get a nice clean cut. And it's above those two leaves. So, like I said, you don't have to do this. I'm just doing it. I'm just showing you in case you decide you want to do it. Now here's another one, and I could see a little node growing right in there. Plus, this is going to slow it down, so I'm not getting flowers for the peppers to start on here, because right now it is March, I think 16th, 17th. It's St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's. But anyhow, these will probably start producing flowers before I get them in the ground. So I'm going to do this one. Here's another really tall one. And this one I'm going to actually I'm going to clip it right here. So I'm leaving 1, 2, 3 sets of leaves. There's 3 sets of leaves I'll be leaving on there. And not counting the first leaves. And the first leaves, you can actually pinch those off because they're just going to turn yellow and die anyhow. So there's another one. I mean, I had, in a gardening group, everybody does something different. And, you know, you can always try things for the first time to see how it works. You don't have to do it to all of them. But there are some things that people say, no, you cannot do this. And there's some people that say, yeah, do it. That's up to you. So, you know, another thing I do is I trim my onion plants up from the bottom about 3 inches. And that's a divided thing too. It definitely does not hurt them. If anything, I think it makes the onion plant, those, you know, the leaves stronger and sturdier. That is what I have experienced. I've had people say that's not what the experts say. And I'm like, well, I don't consider myself an expert, but with 30 plus years of gardening, anyhow, but I'm still learning things. I am still learning how to do things. And there's a lot of things I've never done that I am doing, especially now that I have a lot of free time, because I did that early retirement buyout. So I can experiment a lot more. I can also plant a lot more, which I don't know if that's a good thing or not, because I am planting myself out of my house. But with the greenhouse, I mean, I uppotted 300 and some snapdragons, 300 and some peppers. I got some eggplant going. I'm starting a bunch more herbs because I want that for the plant sale. And I still have to start all my tomatoes. And I still want to do a bunch of marigolds to put in the plant sale. So I even bought a smaller, just a cheaper little greenhouse. And I'm going to be setting that up probably in the next week to 2 weeks in my backyard, just to have an extra place to put plants, because I need these grow lights to get my tomatoes going and more flowers, and every single grow light is occupied right now. So when I bring the peppers in at night, they all go on my dining room table and it looks like a forest, and on my countertop. And that's why I am checking to see if I can, just in case we're not through with these really cold snaps, and if that frost blanket works in my greenhouse overnight and keeps the temperatures warmer, and that I could put more stuff out there, I want to do that. So that's the other thing. I mean, I am learning about my greenhouse. This is my second year. Let me see, I didn't get it last year. Oh, I'm going into my third year with my greenhouse. So, you know, and the weather changes yearly. We all know that. I mean, look at California. Oh my God. Pray for all those people. And, you know, Pennsylvania. I mean, they got a lot. Buffalo. Just different things going on. And we've had the most mildest winter here in Northeast Ohio. At least right where I'm at. I mean, some people around me had snow. We didn't get any snow. It's just really strange. So anyhow, it's all learning, doing what you're comfortable with, experimenting. And, you know, like this, I wouldn't be telling anybody to prune your peppers if it didn't work. So, you know, I'll bring you for an update when these start branching out, to show you what I mean. And actually, I'll even show you throughout the year that it was actually beneficial. But I'm not telling you to do it. I'm not telling you to do it. So if you want to do it, go ahead. If you feel, you know, not real comfortable with it, just do it with a couple. But you want to wait until you have the 1 to at least, I say at least 3 true leaves before you want to pinch that off on the top. And it's right in the middle. It's a main stem. So now we're going to see branching. And so I just wanted to show you guys that. And I got a couple more over there. Like I said, I'm not doing all of them right now because they're not all ready. But the peppers all look beautiful, except for the ones that were laying down in the greenhouse. I don't know if they're going to recover. And those were all of my shishitos. So I will update you on, because I'll probably experiment more in the greenhouse with that freeze cloth, and basically making a tent, because the heater is on the ground. And I don't feel comfortable putting it up on a chair or anything, so I'm going to leave it on the ground. But I think that will hold the heat down, rather than, because there's like, where those shelves are, there's like, it gradually goes up to about 3 foot above those shelvings that I have out there to a peak. And, you know, so I think a lot of heat was leaving. And of course, not really the heater. I mean, it did save most of them, you know, but a lot of them towards the edges or towards the more of the outer sides is where I noticed the peppers that were affected. So anyhow, hopefully that was helpful to you guys. And I'm going to go ahead and, what do I have to do today? Oh, I want to start some more herbs. So
I'll be starting some more plants. So, all right, everyone, have a wonderful St. Patrick's Day, and I will talk to you on the next one. All right, bye.